Good morning, America. New details about the race to get Americans out of war-torn Sudan. Daring nighttime rescue. Inside the mission to evacuate nearly 100 American diplomats and their families. The Navy's elite SEAL Team 6 made the 800-mile journey to get them out. As the bloody power struggle rages on, with 16,000 Americans still trapped, top national security official John Kirby joins us this morning.
Mid-air scare.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
The frightening moments caught on camera when flames started shooting from the engine of an American airline jet.
Weather whiplash. More than 20 states on a frost and freeze alert this morning, sending temperatures plummeting, and those who live along the Mississippi River brace for historic flooding.
New COVID variant on the rise. The one symptom to look out for, especially during allergy season.
In Texas, 9 teenagers shot during an after-prom party, all expected to survive. What we're learning this morning. The 20-year-old woman killed after a large rock was hurled at her windshield while driving. One of 5 incidents in less than an hour on Colorado roads.
Bed Bath and bankrupt. The major retail chain shuts its doors after more than 50 years. What it means for shoppers and all those coupons.
Terrifying moment caught on camera. Watches a skier free fall how his friends saved him with pickaxes and ropes.
Overnight, Dancing with the Stars judge Len Goodman passed away just before his 79th birthday. After a remarkable 31 seasons on the judges panel.
All you do is shake your butt and get the women screaming.
Tributes for the ballroom legend pouring in as our own former Dancing with the Stars finalist Ginger remembers Len.
Good as gold? Treasure seekers are racing to California for the so-called new gold rush.
There's gold in them dire hills.
So can you strike it big?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let go!
Level up.
Hollywood ending, 15 years in the making.
They have their storybook ending.
Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's soccer team, Wrexham, leveling up.
People said at the beginning, why Wrexham? Why Wrexham? This is exactly why Wrexham.
Ryan FaceTiming Blake Lively and their children right after the victory.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. As we start this week together, well, COVID is back in the headlines. There's a new variant that is on the rise, and we'll have what you need to know just ahead.
But first, let's get right to that dramatic rescue mission over the weekend. Nearly 100 U.S. Embassy personnel were evacuated in Sudan by a U.S. military team that included SEAL Team 6.
About 16,000 U.S. citizens remain in the country as the violence escalates. In a moment, we'll hear from top national security spokesman John Kirby. Foreign correspondent James Longman starts us off. Good morning, James.
Yeah, good morning, George. It was a daring mission, but U.S. Special Operations Forces pulled it off. U.S. diplomats and their families are now safely out of Sudan. But the attention is now focused on other U.S. citizens still stranded in that country. Communications are poor, the battle is intensifying, and there is no easy way out.
This morning, as countries around the world race to rescue their diplomats and citizens from Sudan, new details of the dramatic nighttime mission from the country's capital. U.S. Special Operations Forces, including members from the Navy's elite SEAL Team 6, rescuing American diplomats from the U.S. Embassy in Khartoum. 3 helicopters made the 800-mile journey Saturday night, departing from a U.S. base in Djibouti. They only stopped to refuel in Ethiopia before arriving in the Sudanese capital. Once there, the team was on the ground for less than an hour as they evacuated nearly 100 trapped American embassy personnel and their families.
I think this is really going to be a model going forward to how to do these operations.
An NSC spokesperson telling ABC News President Biden gave the green light for the mission Friday night once it was deemed safe and feasible. The State Department released this photo showing Secretary Antony Blinken monitoring as the evacuation was underway. The fighting in Sudan broke out over a week ago between Sudan's current leader and military general Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and his former deputy, Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, who runs a paramilitary known as the Rapid Support Forces. It's been a bloody power struggle between the two sides. More than 420 people have been killed and nearly 4,000 injured.
Now, with the embassies closed and information scarce, foreign nationals are being advised to shelter in place. There are some 16,000 U.S. nationals still in the country. Many of them are dual citizens, but some foreigners are trying to take matters now into their own hands. Some are trying to get to the border with Egypt, others to the Red Sea. But for the Sudanese, millions of whom have been dealing with a hunger crisis, they can't go anywhere. And this is even more terrifying. George?
Okay, James, thanks. Let's bring in the top National Security Council spokesman, John Kirby. John, thank you for joining us. Again, we just heard James say 16,000 Americans still in Sudan. What do we know about their condition? Are any further evacuation efforts planned?
Well, first of all, that number is an estimate. We're not actually don't have great confidence in that number precisely. I would tell you that most of those are dual nationals. These are people that grew up in Sudan, work in Sudan, families are in Sudan, and they want to stay in Sudan. So it's a number that is difficult to plan to specifically. What I can tell you is that there are several dozen Americans that are making their way to Port Sudan over a ground route right now, that in a UN-led convoy, a convoy over which the United States has got some ISR, some intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets to ensure their safety, to watch over that convoy. We still have military forces pre-positioned in the region, ready to respond if need be. But right now, it's not very safe to try to run some larger evacuation either out of a nearby air base or even just through rotary lift like we did the other night, because the fighting is so intense. The safest thing for Americans to do, those who have decided to stay in Sudan, despite the warnings to leave, is to shelter in place and to not move around too much of the city of Khartoum.
The situation is so violent, so explosive right now. Is there anything the U.S. can do to help bring down the tension?
We are working very hard, George. In fact, every single day with these two military leaders, both the Sudanese Armed Forces and the so-called Rapid Support Forces, to get them to put down their arms, to abide by the ceasefires that they themselves say they want, and to return to some sort of civilian authority inside Khartoum and over Sudan. We're working very hard with allies and partners to do the same. We're talking to the African Union. We're talking to the Arab League. We're doing everything we can to try to get this fighting stopped.
Sudan is such a strategically important country there in Africa. Any concern that the war could spread?
Yeah, that is a concern. Now, right now, the fighting predominantly is in Khartoum, George. Not even widespread throughout the country, although there are some fights going on outside of Khartoum. But you're right. This is a centrally located, very important, very large African country. We are concerned that other partners, other nations will be affected by this, not just in the region but beyond. So that's why we're working so hard to get this violence stopped.
John Kirby, thanks as always for your time.
Thank you.
Michael?
All right, thank you, George. Now to the scare aboard an American Airlines flight. Flames shooting out of an engine after an apparent bird strike. Days after flames were seen on the wing of another American Airlines jet. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez is at LaGuardia Airport with that. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Michael, good morning. As you can imagine, these were terrifying moments for the passengers on board, and now they're telling their stories right here on GMA. While bird strikes are common, flames are not. Over the weekend, a dramatic and frightening moment mid-flight captured on camera.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. We had a bird strike and an engine failure.
A possible bird strike Sunday morning on an American Airlines flight from Columbus to Phoenix. You could even see it from the ground. Marnie Kalistad was on board, capturing it all on her phone.
Many people started crying and going into tears because we just didn't know if we were going to make it or not, frankly. It was terrifying.
Marnie thinking the worst.
For some reason, I thought that would help show like what happened to my family if they found my phone or whatever.
The plane eventually making a safe emergency landing back in Columbus.
Bird strikes are not rare. They probably happen almost every day to some commercial airliner somewhere in the United States. What doesn't happen every day is that it causes the kind of damage that we saw on this aircraft, where you actually see flames shooting out the back.
And just a few days earlier, this, flames shooting from the right wing of another American Airlines plane, captured by a passenger in a video that has now gone viral, this time from Charlotte to Dallas.
Everyone was trying to panic, but it was like we couldn't go anywhere either. So I think that was the biggest scare.
That plane rolling down the runway, getting ready for takeoff, but turning right back around before getting in the air. American Airlines saying both incidents were due to mechanical issues. And we should tell you, despite that incredible scare, no one was injured. Thankfully, both planes were able to make it back to their gates safely. Lindsay?
But some terrifying moments, Gio. Thank you. Now to the communities who live along the Mississippi River, bracing for historic flooding. Ginger Z's tracking it all. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, good morning to you all. And yes, the Mississippi River, a more than 400-mile stretch looking for flood warnings already this morning. McGregor, Iowa. This is projected to be some of their highest river level since 1965. So we are talking about potentially making history here. Other spots, the first or the worst in a couple of decades. St. Paul, the Twin Cities, already seeing the flooding. They're at major flood stage and will stay that way or rise even more as we go through the week. Look at some of the other numbers. And this is all because, guys, we had some of the biggest snow totals ever in recorded history in the upper Great Lakes and western Great Lakes, the northern Midwest, the people's basements that have been flooded here, Lake St. Croix. So these are the tributaries that then reach the Mississippi eventually. They were putting up the sandbags to try to keep it out. This is the area that has to be on the lookout through the week. We're going to see these rivers rise even more, the Mississippi itself. The flood warnings from Mississippi through Dubuque, Davenport, Hannibal to just north of St. Louis. So, George, this is something we'll be watching for days to come.
I know you'll be on it. Okay, Ginger, thanks. Now to Texas, where 9 teenagers were shot in after prom party. They are all expected to survive. Rhiannon Alley has the story. Good morning, Rhiannon.
Good morning to you, George. Our prom is supposed to be a big night in a teenager's life, but one quickly turned scary in the early morning hours of Sunday when someone started shooting. Authorities say at least 9 teens were shot at an after-prom party just outside of Jasper, Texas. Most of the victims were hospitalized, but as you mentioned, thankfully none of those injuries are considered life-threatening. Police are urgently on the hunt for a suspect, and they are questioning people of interest, asking anyone with any information to come forward. The school district says as a result of this weekend's events, there will be a much larger law enforcement presence this week to ensure student safety, as well as counselors on hand for any students who need their assistance. They're also trying to figure out a motive, why someone would turn a joyous night into a night of violence. Michael?
Yeah, that's always the question. Thank you so much, Rhiannon. Now to a COVID subvariant on the rise in the U.S. with a new symptom that could easily be mistaken for something less serious, especially during allergy season. Ariel Reshef joins us now with what you need to know. Good morning, Ariel.
Good morning to you, Michael. You may not think of itchy eyes as a symptom of COVID, but that's exactly what experts say is happening with a new Omicron subvariant. The World Health Organization has recently upgraded XB1.16 to a variant of interest as it spreads in parts of the world like India. It doesn't have an official name yet, but trackers are calling it Arcturus. The CDC reporting it now accounts for an estimated 10% of new U.S. COVID cases. That's up from about 6% the previous week. The good news is that it does not appear to cause more serious illness than other COVID strains, but as so many of us are suffering from allergies this time of year, doctors want people to be very aware. There are anecdotal reports that this COVID subvariant can cause those red, itchy eyes. A bit of context here, though. This version of Omicron is emerging as overall COVID numbers are heading in the right direction. Weekly deaths are at their lowest point since the start of the pandemic. And while just under 17% of Americans have gotten their latest booster shot, nearly 70% are considered fully vaccinated. Experts say all of the COVID tests are effective in detecting this new subvariant. Lindsay.
All right, Ariel, thanks so much. Now to the latest on Bed Bath & Beyond filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Our chief business correspondent Rebecca Jarvis is here to explain why and what that means for shoppers. Good morning, Rebecca.
Hi, Lindsay. Good morning. And sadly, this is a company that has been hanging on by a thread for a while. Bed Bath & Beyond warned back in January that bankruptcy could be coming after a dismal holiday season during the pandemic. They faced inventory issues. They couldn't keep their shelves stocked, and a botched plan to scale back on those famous coupons ultimately led to sales declining. Okay, so here is what it's going to mean for customers. 360 Bed Bath & Beyond locations and 120 Bye Bye Baby locations. That's the sister store. They should stay open for now, but they are expected to close by June 30th. Then, as for those returns and exchanges, anything you bought yesterday or before, that falls into the store's normal policies, but you have to bring it back or send it back by May 24th. And if you've stockpiled those coupons, Wednesday is the last day to use them. If you have a gift card, gift certificate, or loyalty certificates, you need to use it in the next 2 weeks. And then those big sales. Keep an eye on your local store for liquidation discounts. Just keep in mind, this is final sale. You're not going to be able to bring it back. The store is also still selling online. They say that you'll be able to fill orders for those in-stock items placed before or after the bankruptcy announcement. Michael, really important news for anyone who's just been married or just had a baby.
Really important news, and that was a lot of information. So
Yes.
Thank you for that, Rebecca. We appreciate it. And now we're going to turn to the NBA playoffs. And the defending champion Golden State Warriors tying their series with Sacramento with a dramatic win yesterday. Will Reeve is tracking it all for us. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Michael. I'm on it like prime Draymond Green with some lockdown defense. Good morning. The playoffs are in full swing. 15 of the 16 teams still alive. Some surprising storylines, some favorites on the ropes, injured superstars giving underdogs a chance, some trash talk, all coalescing to make the NBA playoffs this season's must-watch drama.
This morning, just over a week into the NBA playoffs, the drama is high and the road to the finals is wide open.
Play off the pin down. Got it.
On Sunday, a nail-biter between the defending champion Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, and Monk with an acrobatic steal.
Steph Curry with what some are calling brain freeze, calling for a timeout the Warriors didn't have and giving the Kings a free throw and possession, cutting their lead down to 1.
There's De'Aaron from deep. Got it.
The game decided in the final seconds.
And that's it. The Warriors survive.
With 32 points from Curry and the return of Draymond Green, Golden State hanging on to win by 1 and even the series. Off-court tensions spilling onto the hardwood in the Lakers-Grizzlies series. Grizzlies forward Dylan Brooks calling LeBron James old, saying he doesn't respect him. James and Brooks appearing to have words before Game 3. Brooks then ejected from the game for hitting James below the belt, as the Lakers won their first sellout home playoff game in a decade to go up 2-1 on Memphis. And there was near religious fervor at the Mecca of basketball. The New York Knicks winning both their games at Madison Square Garden, taking a 3-1 series lead over Cleveland, much to the delight of the New York faithful.
That's after Game 4 of the first round. And anyway, the 76ers are through to the second round after sweeping the Nets. They might be without potential league MVP Joel Embiid. He suffered a knee injury. Other injured stars include Kawhi Leonard, whose Clippers are on the brink of elimination, and the Milwaukee Bucks will try to avoid that same fate tonight against the Heat, but they might be without two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. Then it's the Lakers against the Grizzlies in the nightcap. The Lakers trying to go up 3-1 in a bit of a surprise there, guys.
A lot going on, and a lot of great games yesterday, and haven't seen New York reacting, and you know, the fans been that excited in a long time.
7th Avenue madness.
I'm so happy. The Knicks fans are such loyal folks. I mean, it just like I just feel relieved for the fans.
They've been through a lot. Decades. Thank you, Will. Coming up, the new gold rush. Why so many are heading to California to search for treasure. We'll tell you what's behind it.
Also ahead, police in Colorado on high alert after this 20-year-old woman was killed when a rock was thrown at her windshield. One of 5 incidents in less than an hour.
And we're remembering a long-time Dancing with the Stars judge and ballroom legend Len Goodman has passed away. Lara will have the latest. But first, let's go back to Ginger.
Can't wait to honor Len. And I do have to talk about the snow, actually, the cold late April snow that was falling north of Chicago. That video from Northbrook, Illinois. This morning, it is cold. So we've got frost and freeze alerts that have poured in with that chilly air all the way down to Huntsville, Alabama in a frost advisory, Nashville, Chattanooga. Look back to St. Louis or Cape Girardeau. A lot of places in that freeze warning because we've had that big bloom. In most places, we were weeks ahead of time, and now we're getting this cold. And we're not breaking records here, but we're certainly below average by 5, some places a little bit more degrees. But looking at Detroit, we're going to stay cool all the way through the midweek here in the 30s. We're urban heat island here, a little moderated with the ocean, but still New York, a little below average. Your local weather in 30 seconds.
You're looking pleased with yourself.
Not to brag, but I just switched to Verizon.
So you got an awesome network.
And when I switched, I got to choose the phone I wanted for free, not bragging.
You're bragging.
Oh, he's bragging. Who, me? Never. Oh, excuse me. Hello, your Royal Highness, sir.
Okay, that's a brag.
Hey, Mom, I gotta call you back.
Switch and choose the phone you want, like the incredible iPhone 14 on us.
On the network worth bragging about.
Verizon.
We are getting down to 69 degrees today with cloudy skies and isolated showers. And then tonight, we're going to get down to 63 degrees with the same conditions. But tomorrow is going to be, might have some heavy rain, a possible alert day on Tuesday and Wednesday, but we don't have to worry about that rain anymore.
Coming up, Selma Blair revealing how she encouraged her friend Christina Applegate to get tested for MS. Stay right there. We will be right back.
With wet AMD, sometimes I worry my world is getting smaller because of my sight. But now, I can open up my world with Vabysmo. Vabysmo is the first FDA-approved treatment for people with wet AMD that improves vision and delivers a chance for up to 4 months between treatments, which means doing more of what I love. Vabysmo is the only treatment designed to block 2 causes of wet AMD.
Vabysmo is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye, or are allergic to it or any of its ingredients. Treatments like Vabysmo can cause eye infection or retinal detachment. Vabysmo may cause a temporary increase in eye pressure after receiving the injection. Although uncommon, there is a potential risk of heart attack or stroke associated with blood clots.
Open up your world.
A chance for up to 4 months between treatments with Vabysmo. Ask your doctor.
Without the right start to your day, your morning could hit a wall.
Is he okay?
I got it. Belvita breakfast biscuits are baked with slow-release carbs and provide steady morning energy to help you rise and thrive.
The magic never leaves you when you stay with the Disney Resorts Collection, following you along everywhere you go, making every moment special, even more surprising than your last, and bringing you extra time in any of the 4 theme parks every day. Now you can save up to 25% on rooms at select Disney Resort hotels. Why would you stay anywhere else?
Can you hear me calling out your name? I wanna be with you everywhere.
In the wild and your dog both share a hunger for meat. So we've added 20% more meat to protein-rich Blue Wilderness. Go wild with Blue Wilderness, now with 20% more meat.
I think that's Carvana. Let's go.
Let's go.
Just in the amount.
Just in the amount.
Yes, please.
A lot can happen in a moment.
I just bought a car from Carvana.
Like finding your perfect mix of down and monthly payments. Finance your next car with Carvana.
No one thought he would run. A computer salesman was supposed to report to prison to begin a 17-year sentence.
How do you evade capture for 25 years?
Now, join the global manhunt. Have you seen this man? Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
3 years ago, her 15-year-old daughter was lured into the dark world of child sex trafficking and hasn't been seen since. You found 44 out of 45 cases. The one you haven't found yet is Kristen. She was one of 12 girls he kept in a house and sold for sex. He would tie you up, tape your mouth shut.
I have bruises, scars. I call them my warrior tattoos.
New Dr. Phil.
Michael and Willow's wedding sparks emotions.
This is the happiest day of my life.
It's not all good news, is it?
And unforgiving bombshells.
What did you do?
General Hospital on ABC.
Bring them on.
If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. A place as spectacular as, well, me.
I think we might know a place, right, guys?
Bring your friends. Oh, wait, there is.
Good morning, America.
GMA, 7A, every day. Boom, boom, boom.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, America. How are you?
Boom. Now that's how you start your day, people.
The Sweetheart Boutique invites you to the historic square in Goliad for a unique shopping experience. Ladies' linen clothing, a candy shop, children's toys and apparel. Nestled in the Goliad Historic Square is a candy shop that can turn back time with candies and sodas from your childhood. And boy, are they a haven for the children. Infant, toddler, and kids' clothing, swimsuits, family matching outfits, and more. Just a short drive to Goliad. Come visit the Sweetheart Boutique, serving the Crossroads area for over 15 years.
Good morning, I'm Carolina Astrain. The temperatures are in the upper 50s and it is 7:25. Storms brought high winds and hail to the Crossroads early Sunday. These are viewer photos of hail in Cuero. Ping pong and golf ball size hail reported in the area. A vehicle was found in a ditch early Friday in Schulenburg. Officers say they first observed the vehicle just after 2:30 a.m. Police say the driver, a man and sole occupant of the vehicle, displayed multiple signs of intoxication when officers made contact. After it was found, the driver was indeed intoxicated. Officers attempted to take him into custody. Police say the man then began to resist and a struggle ensued. The man was later taken into custody with the help of the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. The suspect, 45-year-old Jacinto Cruz of Schulenburg, faces multiple charges this morning, including public intoxication and resisting arrest, search, or transport. Cruz was transported to the Dan R. Beck Justice Center for booking. And now we turn to First Warn Storm weather anchor Adarius McCormick for a look at your forecast. Good morning, Adarius.
Good morning, Carolina. Right now in Port Lavaca, we're looking at 69 degrees with cloudy skies and isolated showers. Moving into tonight, looking at 63 degrees and the same conditions going on in tonight. And then here's the forecast. Tomorrow we're looking at 78 degrees with heavy rain at times. And then going into the 7-day forecast, Monday's pretty chill with Tuesday and Wednesday alert days. That rain will fizz out Thursday, and going into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we won't see any of that rain anymore. There will be a cold front coming in Saturday, not Monday, coming in Saturday, and that will be the only thing to worry about is those alert days, Tuesday and Wednesday.